That and, playing against each other. I mean, last time I played him one-on-one, I don't know if this story just came out, but he broke a backboard at our house in Miami. Yeah, it was, yeah.
There you go.
LeBron James is still moving like the league belongs to him, but the truth is much harder to ignore now. The Lakers are no longer built around his future. The NBA is no longer waiting on his next big run. The fans are no longer treating him like the center of the sport. And yet, LeBron keeps answering questions about retirement like the idea is still far away, like there is still some big decision to make, like the whole basketball world has not already started turning the page. That is what makes this whole situation feel so strange. The signs are everywhere. The team has changed, the talk has changed, the focus has changed, but LeBron keeps showing up like nothing around him is different. And at this point, he may be the only person who still believes that his career is not near the end. For a long time, LeBron was the NBA. That is not disrespect to anybody else. That is just the truth. He went to the finals again and again. He carried teams, changed the balance of power in the league, and made every season feel like it would end with him standing in the middle of the story. For years, if LeBron was on your team, you felt like you had a real shot. If he was not on your team, you spent the year trying to figure out how to beat him. That kind of power does not come often in sports. Very few players ever reach that point. LeBron did, and he held on to it for a very long time. That is why this moment is so hard for many people to accept. When someone has been the face of the game for so long, it feels almost wrong to say the game has moved on. But sometimes the truth is simple. The game does move on, even from the biggest names. That is what is happening now. LeBron is still a big name. He is still one of the most famous athletes in the world. He still puts up numbers that would be great for most players. But this is not about most players. This is LeBron James. The standard around him was never normal, and it should not be now. When people look at him, they are not asking if he can still play a little. They're asking if he is still that guy, the one who can lead a team at the highest level, the one who can be the main reason a team wins big games, the one who can control a season the way he used to. And the answer is starting to look more clear every week. He is not that player anymore. He can still help. He can still have moments. He can still fill the stat sheet. But those are not the same as being the engine of a title team. The hard part for LeBron is that age is not something you can argue with forever. At 41, every game tells a story. Every slow rotation tells a story. Every late closeout tells a story. Every long pause on defense tells a story. Even every strong game tells a story, because now it feels like people have to stop and say, wow, he can still do that at this age. When people start talking about your age during your best moments, that means the conversation has already changed. It is no longer about dominance. It is about survival. It is no longer about being feared every night. It is about trying to hold on to greatness in small pieces. That is still impressive. In fact, it's amazing. But it is not the same thing as being the best player in the room. And LeBron spent too many years being that player for this version of him to feel normal. The numbers may still look good on paper, but paper can hide a lot. Scoring in the low 20s is solid. Shooting around 48% is fine. A few rebounds, a few assists, a few strong moments in the fourth quarter, all of that sounds respectable. But the game is not played on paper. It is played in rhythm, pressure, pace, and control. And when you watch closely, you can see the change. The burst is not the same. The pressure he puts on defenses is not the same. The way teams react to him.
Well, I mean, I think not taking for granted and just, being in the moment of us being on the floor once again. That's 2 games back to back, playing meaningful minutes and him also making another play. Obviously they was making a run in that second quarter, and they did make a run in that second quarter. But just for me, I just always make the right play. I got doubled, and he was able to make fake the pass to the corner and then knock down the 3. So definitely a cool moment, for us and also for our family.
Then that streak ended, And yes, one game does not erase a career. One off night does not mean a legend is done. But moments like that matter because they break the picture people have in their heads. They remind everyone that even the things that once felt safe are no longer safe. And maybe the most telling part was not that the streak ended. It was that the Lakers still won. That matters. It tells you something important. The team can move forward even when LeBron is not carrying the weight anymore. That brings us to the part LeBron probably does not want to hear. The Lakers may actually look more clear without him as the center of everything. That does not mean he has no value. It means the team has started to find a different identity, one that fits where the league is going instead of where it has been. When LeBron missed time, the team did not fall apart. In some stretches, they looked cleaner. The ball moved with more purpose, the offense looked more direct, the roles made more sense, the energy felt different. That is not the kind of thing a front office ignores. It is not the kind of thing a coaching staff ignores. And it is definitely not the kind of thing a player like LeBron enjoys hearing. Because once a team starts showing signs that it can function and maybe even breathe better without you running everything, your place in the future gets much harder to protect. A lot of that change is connected to Luka, and this is where the whole story becomes impossible to miss. Luka is not just another star sharing the floor with LeBron. Luka is the next center of the Lakers. He is younger, fresher, and fully in his prime. He bends the defense in a way that changes the whole shape of a game. He controls tempo. He creates space. He makes teammates better just by touching the ball. That is what real offensive power looks like. When Luka is running things, role players look more alive. Shooters get cleaner looks. Cutters move with confidence. Big men get easier chances. That is leadership in basketball form. It's not about speeches. It is not about status. It is about what the game looks like when you are in charge. And right now, the game looks more natural for the Lakers when Luka is the one setting the tone. That contrast makes LeBron's place even harder to defend, because now he is not just being judged against his own past, he is being judged against the present, and the present is standing right next to him. Luka is in his mid-20s. LeBron is in his 40s. Luka is building upward. LeBron is managing decline. Luka is giving the Lakers 10-year hope. LeBron is giving them short-term questions. Luka is where the team can grow. LeBron is where the team has to adjust. That is why even normal moments between them can feel heavy. Every touch, every late-game choice, every timeout conversation carries more meaning than it should, because everyone knows this is not just about two stars playing together. It is about one era ending while another era begins, and those moments are always awkward when both eras are still wearing the same jersey. Even the coach seemed to hint at that reality. When a coach starts talking about the team losing some order after a player returns, people listen. It is one thing for fans to say the fit feels messy. It is another thing when the coaching staff speaks in a way that points to the same problem. Offense needs flow. Players need clear jobs. The ball needs to move with purpose. They did not spend days acting confused. They simply saw it and moved on. They are not talking about him like the future. They are talking about him like a giant figure whose time is closing. And when those same voices show more excitement about the young star in the building, the message gets even clearer. That is another reason Luka's rise feels so loud. It is not just that he puts up huge games. It's how those games look. He controls the floor like someone who already knows where the defense will crack before it does. He does not need elite speed to own a game. He does not need huge jumps or long sprints. He wins with timing, balance, touch, and feel. That makes his style even more dangerous.
But belief does not stop time. Belief does not heal the body. Belief does not make the team fit better. And belief does not erase the fact that the Lakers seem more focused on tomorrow than on giving one more perfect ending to yesterday. There is also the weight of legacy in all of this. LeBron has chased history his whole life. Every record, every number, every milestone has mattered because he knows how big his place in the game can be. He wants the full picture. He wants the career that leaves no room for doubt. He wants to stand beside the names that define basketball forever. That kind of hunger does not go away just because the body changes. If anything, it can get stronger. The closer a player gets to the end, the more every missed chance feels bigger. Every ring starts to feel heavier. Every injury starts to feel crueler. Every season starts to feel like maybe the last clean shot. That can make retirement feel impossible, because walking away can feel like admitting the final answer will never be exactly what you wanted. And that is why this moment can be sad, even for people who are critical of him. Watching an all-time great stay longer than the game needs him is always painful in a special way. Not because he becomes bad, but because the image becomes less clear. People want to remember the force, not the fade. They want to remember the king, not the long goodbye. LeBron has given basketball too much to become a side story in his own ending. But that is the risk now. The longer he stays in a role that no longer fits the old image, the more the final years become about awkward fit, hard questions, and visible decline, instead of power, command, and greatness. That may be the real danger to his legacy, not the lack of one more title, but the slow replacement of fear with sympathy. The Bronny angle makes the whole thing even more layered. For years, LeBron made it clear that sharing the league with his son meant something huge to him. That goal mattered, and reaching it clearly meant a lot on a personal level. No one can take that away from him. But once that dream is achieved, the next question has to be honest. What now? If one of the biggest personal reasons to keep pushing has already been fulfilled, then what is left to prove on the court? More stats? More games? More headlines? Another year of debate? At some point, the personal dream and the basketball reality stop being the same thing, and once that happens, staying can start to feel less like purpose and more like delay. The front office does not seem confused. That may be the clearest part of this whole story. Teams do not always say everything out loud, but they reveal a lot through action. They reveal it through marketing. They reveal it through roster moves. They reveal it through which player becomes the face of future plans. When a team starts putting one star at the center of its next 10 years, that is not random. That is direction. That is vision. That is commitment. And when that star is not LeBron, the message is hard but simple. The Lakers are already planning life after him, even if he is still in the building. The billboards change before the speeches do. The team direction changes before the farewell does. The future gets picked before the past fully lets go. That is what makes the whole thing feel almost surreal. LeBron is still there, still playing, still answering questions like the ending has not arrived. But around him, the world looks like it already knows. The fan energy has moved. The team language has moved. LeBron can be a legend and still be near the end. He can still be useful and still no longer be the answer. He can still have greatness in him and still no longer fit as the center of a team with title dreams. Sports become messy when people act like saying the hard truth is somehow hate. It is not hate to admit what time is doing. It is just honesty. And honesty says this version of the Lakers has a future that shines brightest when Luka is leading it. Honesty says LeBron's best role now may not match the role he still sees for himself. Honesty says the team has more balance when it is not trying to force the old order onto a new roster. Honesty says the gap between LeBron's name and LeBron's current impact has become too wide to ignore. That does not mean he is washed. That does not mean he is finished in the harsh way critics love to say. It means he is no longer what he once was, and for a player whose whole career was built on being bigger than everybody else, that change lands harder than it would for anyone else. Maybe the hardest part is that LeBron has always been so aware of his image, so aware of his place in history, so aware of every conversation around his name. That makes it even stranger that he seems unsure when asked about the next step. Maybe he truly does not know. Maybe part of him is still fighting the answer. Maybe he needs the game to push him all the way to the edge before he can let go. Some legends need that. Some need the body to make the choice. Some need the team to make the choice. Some need the mirror to become impossible to avoid. And maybe LeBron is at that point now, where the truth is in front of him every night, but accepting it still feels harder than playing through it one more time. The reality is that careers like his do not end neatly. They end with debate, mixed feelings, strange moments, and fans split between gratitude and frustration. Some people will say he should have walked away already.